I had to do. Did you guys do signing day today, or within the past couple weeks when everyone like signs their college?
We
Do you
have a
guys do
wall.
that?
We have a wall.
Yeah, it's
You're
kind of
supposed,
like that.
you're
Yeah.
supposed to take a survey, and then they're supposed to like print out a thing that like
Yeah.
nobody did. So then people are writing it on, but then you're not supposed to like. You're supposed to just use black, but then like Anna and Kaylee like actually decorated those, and you're not supposed to do that. Anyway, so
younger now.
I was watching one of Baby. Is that Game? Okay, I've never seen an episode of Game
Oh,
of
she
Thrones.
has?
I've seen like the first 6, and I read the first
Is
half
it
of
good?
the first
Okay.
book.
Trustee Jennifer Wildemuth, and a second by Carissa Gillies. The board voted 4-1 with one absent to approve special education settlement agreement case number 20190302225. Takes care of that. So we will have the flag salute, and I have Lillian. Help me with the pronunciation. Baraz. Hi, welcome.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Did you bring any guests with you tonight? Who did you bring? Got your sister? Your cousin? How about your parents? Did they come? Yes. And mom's here? And dad. And dad. All right, thank you very much.
Jill Gill's here.
So, presentation. This is fun stuff. 5A, presentation of community volunteers, and I have a sheet to follow here. So, our first presenter will be Christina Curry. Is Christina here? There she is. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. So our volunteer of the year is Shannon Barbado. She couldn't be here tonight because she's already volunteering for Project Graduation also, so there was a conflict. Shannon works tirelessly for us at with the PTA at our school. We see her almost every day, copying at school, helping out in classrooms. She helped with our walkathon, all of our fundraisers, and she's a huge asset to our school.
So thank you. Now, do you, So next presenter is Monica Fong. For John Reed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Monica Fong, the principal of John Reed.
I'd like to call up Brandy Tibbetts for our Volunteer of the Year. Brandy is the president of our PTA. She is at our school almost every day. She has a first grader, and she also brings her 3-year-old with. And she literally unloaded 500 boxes of See's candy by herself, bagged them all. She works tirelessly on all our PTA events, all our nighttime back-to-school events, orders food for the teachers. She's just phenomenal. And so we thank you, Brandy, and we're glad that you'll be back for next year. And your husband as well.
My name's Rachel Hankerson, and this is Jimmy Brajas.
Family affair.
Jimmy's a parent of a 3rd grade student at Hahn Elementary School, but his services go far beyond the just that grade level. When I asked staff to nominate volunteers, Jimmy's name came up again and again. After dropping off his daughter, Jimmy checks in with every single Hahn teacher to see if they need any help copying materials. He comes by so frequently that many of the staff members have made him his own box just inside the class door, and he just grabs it when he gets there. Even on days that he can't stay and help, he swings through the copy room just to make sure that our copy machines are fully stocked with paper. Jimmy's helped with countless jobs this school year, from sharpening pencils, making thousands of copies, organizing teacher projects, fixing pencil sharpeners, and even cleaning up messes between a few portable buildings where teenagers were disposing of their good time. He also makes sure that we have a stocked supply of our math fluency assessment program. He checks in regularly to make sure things are not low. A few weeks ago, we got about 15 chairs, and Jimmy quickly put them together. Then he helped us realize that they were too big, so he quickly disassembled them and rewrapped them into their boxes and helped us send them off. These are just a few of the things that he does, but really he's there all the time. He saves the Hahn staff hours of time, and everyone really appreciates his support. We're very grateful from all the Hahn staff. Thank you, Jimmy.
Amber Griffith, come on down. And Bobby. That's what I said. Amber Griffith's evergreen roots run very deep. She became an evergreen bobcat herself exactly 40 years ago and was granted a college scholarship from Evergreen when she graduated from the ranch. Amber has served as our PTA membership chair for the past 2 years. She is an active member of our PTA and always steps up to help out teachers and students with whatever is needed. From coordinating our back-to-school staff recognition lunch to organizing our March Madness membership drive, Amber is always thinking about how to best support Evergreen. Although her son Bobby is moving on to middle school next year, we know that we will still see Amber around campus as one of our preferred substitute teachers. Thank you for supporting Evergreen as an outstanding volunteer. Amber, you will always be a bobcat. Oh, you get this too. Sorry.
So Teresa, you're up next.
So I have the pleasure of tonight of introducing Christy and Steve Wilson. They are some of the founding members of the Richard Crane PTA. In fact, they were the ones that got it going for us. These two are at every event, at every family fun night. Steve is barbecuing the hamburgers. He's building games that will be with Richard Crane forever that have our logo on them, so beautifully displayed. They're at our walkathon. They're out at outdoor education. They're all there all day for the bike rodeo. You name it, they're there. Chrissy is our PTA treasurer. She runs our PTA website, getting all of the information out. There's other family members as well. Grandma, that's also volunteering. It's gonna be a whole family award. This duo has given countless hours to our students. And they have a 5th grade daughter who's going on to Technology Middle School. Where's Sarah? So take note. A really awesome family. So thank you for everything. You don't have to share.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Straub from University Elementary, and I'd like to call up Catherine Smith. So Catherine is at our school. She runs our Meet the Masters art program, so she does most of the work around it. So she organizes all the materials, prepares it for all of the teachers, trains all the volunteers, and also schedules the assemblies to learn about the artist. On top of that, she also runs our Reflections program this last year, which was a huge success, and she organized that whole event. So besides that, she also is a very active PTA member, and she is always at our site, and we appreciate you. There was no doubt this is who the staff wanted to recognize and give this recognition to. So thank you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Susan Lopez, and I'm the principal at Thomas Page Academy, and I would like to call up Fran Russell. Last fall, Fran Russell had a great idea for Thomas Page: new shoes. She worked writing a grant to provide every student at Thomas Page a new pair of shoes and socks. This was quite an undertaking, and it was done with care and love. Mrs. Russell worked with the congregants of New Hope Church to organize this project for us, and while I was very concerned about 400 children trying on shoes in the MU during the course of having their pictures taken, each piece of this entire project worked just like a military exercise. So I was very, very impressed. Remarkably, this is only one of many projects that Fran has tackled for Thomas Page. She, along with New Hope Church, have donated school supplies, have provided teacher luncheons, and so much more. And Thomas Page is so lucky to have a friend like Fran.
I'm Michelle Smith, and for Lawrence Jones Middle School, we nominated Alyssa McCurry, who isn't here because she is at our Excel overnight at Sugarloaf, and we nominated her because she works part-time, but I'm pretty sure she works full-time at Lawrence Jones. Like, she is always there. She is such an integral part of organizing a lot of their expeditions and all the paperwork that comes with just the program itself. She has her own little office and all the stuff that she does. I'm not sure that they will function when her daughter moves on to high school and we no longer have her, but we are super grateful for her.
Hi, I'm Sarah McKenna. I'm the principal here at Technology Middle School. Our volunteer of the year is Ryan Ballantine. He is not here tonight, so I'm going to accept for him, but he is an assistant coach for our wrestling team. He spends countless hours with our kiddos after school because they have very long practices with wrestling, like 2 hours, sometimes 2.5. He has a great connection with the kids. He's super passionate about our sports program, especially wrestling, and he's very positive and well respected by our students and our staff.
That's not Lewis, but it's a substitute for Lewis. I am not Lewis. You're not Lewis.
Not unless I've changed my name. Hi, my name is Dawn Mawhinney. I'm the principal of Technology High School, and I would like to invite up Scott Warden. And you get a beautiful certificate. You're welcome. Scott Warden is Technology High School's Volunteer of the Year. Scott and his entire family are dedicated to the entire scholar-athlete experience. And it's parents like Scott that are willing to step up and work for the sports boosters in the PTSA that give the students the rich experience that they have, and the teachers are able to do everything that the teachers can do. And Scott steps up for anything that is asked of him, and he's always there to help the sports program to raise funds, to speak for what the students need, to assist the coaches. And this year he revamped the scholarships, so there'll be 2 deserving scholar athletes receiving scholarships here in the next week because we're at the end of the year. So from the entire Tech High family, thank you, Scott.
Hello, I'm Louis Gansler, principal of Rancho Cotati. I'd like to ask Ron Campbell to come up and join me. I'm going to read some words that were written by the teacher the classroom with whom Ron spent so much time each week, Cole Smith. One of the most noble things a person can do is to give back to those who have helped you along. Ron Campbell learned all kinds of those fundamental lessons in the early years at Rancho Cotati High School as a member of the class of 1971, and nearly 40 years later, he has returned to campus to give back to the community that got him started in the right direction. After a successful career in the Air Force and several decades running his own structural steel shop, Mr. Campbell now shares his knowledge of metals and life with hundreds of students at Rancho. Mr. Campbell can be found in the shops at least 3 days a week and has given tirelessly of himself to help students grow in confidence and learn skills they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Mr. Campbell excels at spending one-on-one time with a student that may feel a bit overwhelmed and not up to the task, showing great patience and understanding as he teaches them that they can indeed do it if they just keep working at it and keep trying to improve. Over the past 2 years, Mr. Campbell has infused great energy and ingenuity into Rancho Cotati's shop programs, and, if we are lucky, will continue to do so for years to come.
His certificate on the... Oh. First. That's Thank you. So we're going to do district retirees, starting with Susan Lopez.
Come on up, Barbara. It is my pleasure to speak of Thomas Page Academy's 8th grade math and science teacher, Miss Barbara Gagan. Barbara is an outdoors enthusiast who has built an entire life and career merging her interests together. She brings this blend to her classroom every day to all her students. She will be retiring with 32 years of teaching experience in the middle school grades. I believe that that in and of itself is something very worthwhile. She has worked at Thomas Page for the last 9 years and has been in the district for 15, every day incorporating outdoor experiences with her math and science classes. Ms. Geegan has revitalized the garden at Thomas Page and has ensured that there has been a garden teacher available to classes so students can learn about the outdoors. It doesn't surprise me a bit that Barbara's retirement plans include a variety of outdoor experiences, as well as volunteering as a garden teacher at Thomas Page. Barbara's had a long and rich career, and I know I speak for everybody at Thomas Page when I wish her all the best in retirement. I'd say we miss her, but I'm pretty sure she'll be back to tend to and teach about the garden. Thank you for your many years' work, Barbara.
Okay.
Good evening again. Tonight we are saying a heartfelt goodbye to Stephen Freeland at the end of this year. Stephen has taught public school for over 30 years at every grade level from kindergarten to adult education. He came to teaching as a second career after leaving a semi-professional beekeeping career in upstate New York. In his tenure here at CRPUSD, he has been the California Education Language Development Coordinator at Mountain Shadows Middle School, and an ELD teacher at Mountain Shadows Middle School, La Fiesta, Waldo Ronert, John Reed, and now Technology Middle School. His passion has been working with and educating Latino parents in our community. He has instructed many classes in Spanish to our community parents. He has great respect and an affinity for the Latino culture. Stephen will be remembered for his work in this district. His signature Brooklyn accent will be missed at meetings and chats around campus. He is looking forward to trading in his teacher's editions for a passport to the Swiss Alps with his wife. Stephen, thank you for everything you have contributed to the lives of our students over the years. Happy retirement.
Mary Schaefer. Is that who I'm presenting right now? No. Or am I jumping on? Diane?
Diane Scott.
Diane Scott.
Yeah, Diane Scott.
There you are. Lawrence Jones is super sad to say goodbye to Diane Scott, who is retiring. She is our home arts teacher, and she is the life of part of our enrichment program. She's the one who offers the students multiple things for them to learn, from sewing to cooking, and they just find passions in different things in her classroom. And just to watch the way that she fosters that in them and gives them their time for them to grow and just to have a moment of joy and peace is awesome to watch. And we're super grateful for all of her years. She's been teaching for 26 years and didn't start off in the culinary arts, but ended there. And so we're super grateful for all of her time. Thank you, Diane.
Gotta shake her. Next we have, Monica Fawn. Yep.
It's you. Yeah, it's you.
For both, for Sherry and Diane.
Again, Monica Fong at John Reed Elementary. We are sad to say goodbye to two of our veteran teachers, Diane Rasmussen and Sherry Stenberg. Diane is currently teaching kindergarten. She stepped up last year when we needed to change teachers and immediately said she would take kindergarten, even though she had been in a different grade for several years. She is currently our Girl Scout leader and spends many hours after school working with the Girl Scouts. She's going to come back next year and continue to do that. She's been a lead science teacher. She's a national board certified teacher. She has mentored many young teachers over the years and has spent 29 years in this district. And before that, about 5 years in early childhood education as well. She's been a lead science teacher and head of the PTA at Waldo. She's led craft night, family science night, and she's just an all-around wonderful teacher. We're going to miss her very, very much. Thank you, Diane. Sherry Stenberg. Sherry is natural musician. Sherry plays so many instruments. She plays the piano for us at every assembly. She made up our new school song this year, just kind of off the cuff, and choreographed it and gave us all the words, and we are really going to miss that. She plays the piano in her classroom and helps her students learn difficult topics by using music as well. She has done a play every year at our school, which all of the children remember. They come back and sing it many years later. It's going to be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Old Dust or Bust, if anybody wants to come. She coordinates the costumes, the scenery, all of the roles and everything, and it's just a really fun and exciting play about the history of California. Sherry has taught 30 years in this district, and before that she taught in Oakland and several other districts in the Bay Area. So the profession will be less without you, Sherry, but you've taught so many young teachers and mentored them that we know that your experience will live on, and we'll miss you.
I feel very honored to speak about Beth Field this evening. Beth has been teaching for 36 years and has been in the Cotati-Roanoke Park School District for 35 of those years. She's taught students with special needs from kindergarten through high school at 7 schools within our district. She started at La Fiesta and Roanoke Park Junior High in 1983, and she spent most of her time at Thomas Page, and most recently, she's spent the past 5 years at Hahn. Beth has worked for 17 principals. She's mentored 9 student teachers and has been several teachers' BITSA support providers. Some people may not know, but I started in this district as Beth's student teacher. Only when I was assigned to her, I was told that I had to come interview in order to be accepted. I asked her if we should meet at her school, and she said, no, we'll meet off campus, and then depending on how it goes, we can go to the school. I passed. I learned more from Beth in those 6 months than I had in my entire credential program. Beth was an amazing mentor to me and to others. She fostered my love of teaching. She showed me how fun teaching can be. She helped rein in my overzealous habits and assured me that education was where I was meant to be. Beth taught me how to communicate and work with other teachers. She encouraged my passion for children, and she always found my typos. These are skills that I've carried with me forward. I can't give her a copy of this speech because she'll definitely find a lot of typos. Over the course of my student teaching with Beth, always had former students stopping by her room to check in and tell her how they were doing. Beth remembered all of them. She was always so proud of them, and I could see the real bond she had made with students who were now much taller than her and approaching graduation. I remember thinking, I want that. I've been fortunate enough to be Beth's principal for the past 2 years. As a principal, I try and walk through classrooms just to see what's going on around campus, and going into our K-2 Learning Center is always one of my favorite stops. Beth's one of those teachers who rarely notices when her principal walks in. I could sneak in and sit down all while watching her dance and sing, teaching kids their letter names and sounds and trying to get them to stick for her struggling students. Eventually, she'd look up and laugh, realizing that I had been watching her bounce around the room for the past few minutes. When she did notice me, when I walked in, she'd be sure to celebrate her students' successes and encourage them to show off for me. She's so good at making students who typically struggle feel good about themselves. She would say, let's show Mrs. Hankerson what you can do, and the kids would sit up a little taller. Then she'd encourage a student to build a word, and as they'd work, she'd look at me, and even though she wouldn't say it, I knew what she was thinking. They're amazing. She is, without a doubt, their biggest cheerleader. Special education is one of those things that's always changing, and Beth has never stopped learning. Even as her retirement is quickly approaching, she isn't ready to stop learning. No, she's been taking classes at Sonoma State to work towards earning her master's. Now that she is retired, or retiring, that's the first thing on her list. She'll be attending SSU full-time this fall, and this time next year, she will have earned her master's degree in early childhood education. Beth, you've touched the lives of so many teachers, students, and families in this district. Thank you for your service and unwavering dedication to ensure that all students learn. We hope that you enjoy retirement. We are certainly going to miss you. I'm not sure that I'm ready for this chapter to end. And while we know you won't be back to sub, we can't wait for you to come back and volunteer. Thank you.
Oh, Steve. Steve Smith has worked for CRPUSD for 31 years, the majority of the time at Evergreen Elementary as head custodian. The custodian of an elementary school is often a thankless job. Over the years, Steve has kept our campus clean, well-stocked with supplies, and free of as many bodily fluids as possible at an elementary school. Steve is a talented musician and has played guitar and piano at all of our holiday sing-alongs. He plays a mean Feliz Navidad. And although he has never admitted nor denied it, I'm pretty sure Steve is also our head leprechaun, painting green leprechaun footprints and sprinkling glitter all over our school every St. Patrick's Day, much to the excitement of our Evergreen Bobcats. I have a lot of fifth graders here. Shh, don't tell, don't tell. We will all have a hole in our hearts now that our days of communicating with Steve via walkie-talkie are coming to an end. We will all miss his signature, yes, and often entertaining responses when something is needed at Evergreen. Our whole staff would like to wish our favorite Stefano a wonderful and relaxing retirement. Thank you, Steve. Next, I would like to call up Lisa Dolkis. All right. Positive, innovative, kind, honest, strong, sporty, collaborator, team player, mentor. These are just a few words to describe the incredible educator that is Lisa Dolkis. Oh God, I'm trying not to. Lisa is the rock of Evergreen Elementary School. As a principal, I continue to be amazed with all that Lisa does to contribute to our site in a positive way. I've actually told her that I need her to write down all of the extra things that she does at Evergreen because things just magically happen because she does them, and I need to know what those things are because you're retiring. Lisa has been teaching in CRPUSD for 32 years. She started at Richard Crane as a PE teacher and spent 5 years in that position before moving into a classroom teaching position at La Fiesta for just a year. Lisa then moved back to Richard Crane and was there until it closed in 2002. She spent 7 years at Waldo Rohnert and has been an Evergreen Bobcat for the past 10 years. Lisa has always been the type of staff member that goes above and beyond in her work as an educator. Lisa was a member of CRPUSD's National Science Foundation cadre and the lead science teacher for our district's years in the California Science Implementation. She has run our after-school STEAM program and has been actively involved with student leadership at Evergreen. She has been recognized as being a teacher on the bus to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week and was selected as the Ed Foundation 21st Century Teacher of the Year in 2017. One of the most important things Lisa has done as an educator is cultivating our 5th grade outdoor education program, which you'll hear about tonight. Taking students to Clem Miller Education Center at Point Reyes for the past 25 years, which has had a huge impact on the learning and growth of so many students. Outdoor Ed is the week of September 16th, and Lisa, feel free to join us. Again, I'm just saying, if you want to come, we'd love to have you. Lisa loves kids, and she loves being a teacher. Her classroom has always been a safe place for learning and exploration. Lisa is a consummate professional who can work with any staff member, any student, or any family. Thank you for your years of dedication to students in our district, Lisa. We wish you a wonderful retirement full of 10Ks and adorable grandchildren. You will always and forever be our rock. Hi. Come up here. Stand right here. Yes, to follow rules right now. Oh, my delicate flower, Nancy Iona. She's very quiet. She's very shy.
Trying to break out.
Nancy is the heart and soul of Evergreen Elementary School. I knew from the minute I met her that this woman was a force to be reckoned with. And I also knew if she didn't like me, that my job was not going to be easy.
But I loved you.
I'll never forget my first assembly with her when she was explaining some behavioral expectations for the playground. I handed her the microphone and she just laughed and said, "She's loud enough. She doesn't need that." When you think of the school Goldridge, the image of Nancy should pop into your brain. She was hired on the day the school opened and worked there until the day it closed. Nancy embodied everything that was amazing about Goldridge. She was a vital part of developing the philosophy of teamwork, community, positivity, and unconditional love for students and families. When Goldridge closed, Nancy became a member of Team Evergreen and has never looked back. Over the years, she has served as PTA teacher representative, teacher in charge, and RIPSIA representative. She is, and forever will be, the queen of the walkathon and the queen of the cakewalk. More so than any other person, Nancy goes all in with everything in life. She never gives less than 1,000%, and her students are the ones who truly benefit from her energy and commitment to their success. Stop crying, because you're gonna make me cry too. I have never met a more loyal teacher, both to me as an administrator and to our school as a whole. I know that I can count on Nancy for absolutely anything and everything, and she will always stand up for what is right. Teaching in CRPUSD for 36 years, Nancy has touched the lives of so many individuals in the Rohnert Park community. I feel blessed that my son has been able to have the legend, Miss Iona, as his teacher in her final year. Years ago on the day of the teacher, one of her students was quoted in saying, "There is nothing she wouldn't do for us." The most important
So you're going next year to?
University of San Francisco.
Okay, great. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you for all you've done. So we're going to take about a 5-minute break here and gather ourselves and wipe the chairs away.
comparison to see if anything is radically different. Then we also look at our intra-district transfers in and out of our various schools. Then it gets a little trickier because we look at inter-district transfers in and out, how many come in and where do they want to go, and how many are leaving and where are they going. And then in the case of Lawrence Jones, we conduct a lottery and determine who gets in and out. And right now there is a priority for the EXL students and siblings. IDT summary, so this is new information this year. So here you can see, the pointer won't really work. We have a total of 339 outs and 115 ins. The exciting news about this year that's brand new for our district is on the left side. You'll notice that these are brand new IDTs. The bulk of the ones on the right are IDTs that are already out, but they're just renewing to stay out. And if you look at the left, we have 79 in and 61 outs. And so for the first time since I've been here, we have a net gain on IDTs currently. These numbers shift because as IDT requests come in over the summer, those numbers can change. Looking at our total numbers as they stand right now in this point in time, we're looking at a grand total of 2,520 elementary students, 1,338 middle school students, and 1,825 high school students. We have 131 students in special day classes for a grand total of 5,814 students. And if we look at our last current enrollment from Business Services, the April 2019 monthly enrollment, it's right now at 5712. So we're hoping to see enrollment increase by 102 students next year, which is really positive news for us, especially in an era after the fires and with rents going up substantially. Many districts are seeing declining enrollment, and we've seen that as well. But it looks like next year we're going to cautiously project up. But once again, these numbers do move around over the summer.
So can I ask you a question there? When you go back to your 102?
Yep.
How many is that of coming in at kindergarten versus going out at graduating at 12th grade?
We've seen
So that's going to be a component of that, right?
This year, we've seen a larger number of kinder. So I would say of the 102, a little more than half of that is ETK through K.
Okay, so roughly 50 coming in versus graduating out.
Right.
And then would the other 50 be through
We saw, right, some of them are transfers in. I mean, I'm not, for the sake of this presentation, I didn't dive into all of those details left, but I'd be happy to get those for you.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a
Sure.
square in my head, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where that's coming.
And with all the new housing still being built, then the number might look better.
Okay.
So you have a different number for ending of April than what we were given in the board packet? 5712.
And what do you
We
have?
have 5749.
5749. I wonder if yours might be including NPS students?
Probably.
That could be. And I specifically took those out because mine says excluding NPS on the slide up here.
No, I'm still off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take them out, it's still off, but that's all right.
Okay. Jumping onto marketing, I've been here for 3 years, and when we started, when I came here, we had an active website that was in good shape. Some of our principals were using Facebook. I know the superintendent in the district was. We were doing radio ads, and we advertised in Sonoma Family Life, which you can see over here in the lower right-hand corner. We did have some gaps. We really didn't have any professional materials, either at the district or site level. The sites varied widely in their use of social materials, and so when we did go to job fairs, we had like photocopied materials. We just didn't look very professional compared to some of the other districts that were there. So in The last 3 years, what we've done is for the school sites, under electronic media, school sites all have their specific websites. They have active Facebook and Twitter feeds. I receive most of those, and I get a lot of posts. Our principals will post something on Twitter, which will jump right up on their Facebook page, and then we often bump that right up to the district Facebook page. We've created professional brochures and pamphlets. You can see a lot of the logos here. 5 schools have brand new logos. We've given schools new tablecloths, banners, basically so when they host an open house or they have to go to an event that they can represent not only the school but the district in a professional manner. From the district side, our website's been upgraded, our Facebook and Twitter posts are highly used. Our radio ads, we're stopping the use of radio, but we did try to tweak how we're using radio. So we did ask Dr. Gansler from Rancho Cotati High School to send out several personalized messages, one about the exciting changes that are happening there with their pathway programs, and then again with the tag building, because as much as we like to think that the community cares about the district, what parents really know is a school. And so we try to get the message out via radio about some great things happening at our schools. We do now advertise in our local paper, the Community Voice. And on the print side, especially during open enrollment, we put up billboards all over town, lawn signs in the neighborhoods of each of our schools, door hangers in the new neighborhoods out there, and posters. We also sent direct mail out into Roanoke Park, Cotati, and Petaluma. We only do Petaluma because they did it to us, so we countered. We do advertise with the Cotati and Roanoke Park Chamber, and we did produce a lot of roadshow materials so that when we go to different events or job fairs, we actually, I think, look better than anyone else out there currently. Some new and future work. I'm working with Jen, and we're partnering with the City of Roanoke Park, and we're talking about sharing resources. They put out a quarterly community pamphlet. Is it quarterly or 3 times a year? I can't remember. Maybe it's 3 times a year. But they send out this like 50-page booklet to all 7,000 residents in Roanoke Park, and we'd like to get a few pages on that booklet that talk about some of the cool things that our schools are doing in the neighborhood. We have a new tag manager who's right over there. Mike, how you doing? And he's doing a great job. He's already made a couple professional videos for us. There's one on our Facebook page. As you know, that Technology High School was recognized as the 29th best school in California. And so there's a nice interview with her there. Yay, it's awesome. We now have in-house artwork, greater site coverage. He was out at Evergreen producing a video for them as well, and some fantastic photography. There's a middle school color run. I know this item was pulled, but we have reached out to Sonoma Media as a way to keep a county-wide type of presence. A lot of our work is done in our own neighborhood, but inter-district transfers are important for bringing revenue into the district. And so we thought this might be a way that's substantially less expensive than radio, but we could still have a broad reach. And we were thinking about using it right before the kids come back, let parents know, hey, here we are, it's time to enroll your kids, but also during open enrollment. The thing I like a lot about this particular package is that it does have a large reach. They have about 400,000 readers in the North Bay, but also they have data analytics. So if someone goes to the Press Democrats webpage or they're looking at it on their cell phone and they see our ad, if they then go to our website and check, we'll know about it. So we'll be able to tell, are these marketing dollars actually working? Are they then going to our website? And if this does get approved, there'll be a phone number attached to the print media on Sunday's paper, and if people call it and go to our website, that generates data analytics, and we'd know if the print media is effective. And if it's not effective, don't do it. But if it's effective, and we're starting getting enrollment from this, it might be a great way to increase our enrollment by capturing some outside students.
So how do we tag enrollment from the marketing? Do we survey that to say if someone comes outside of the district?
Right.
How
This
you
year
found out about us? I
This year
mean,
left, we did IDT surveys, but one thing we didn't do is we didn't survey our own families. So if you did enroll in Evergreen and you live in Evergreen's attendance zone, we didn't survey them. But well, I know that's kind of not really getting to your point, but what I'd like to do next year is continue our IDT surveys, and we would focus on marketing. But also, I'd like to survey our own families about our strengths and weaknesses when they enroll with us, just to get a better picture. Because I think what I'm going to show you in a few minutes is our open enrollment survey results. But we didn't survey our own people, which I think would have been valuable information to have.
I think to Leff's point was, if someone clicks on it and they get to our website and they enroll, is there going to be a question that says, how did you hear about us? Oh, I read it in the newspaper. I mean, how do you quantify that the people were driven here from the $14,000+ plus?
Right.
How
good
will we
point.
know? A bait click, I get how that works, but just because someone clicked on it doesn't mean they enrolled.
Right. We would have to create an electronic survey that they could click on as part of that process.
And so currently,
me
how
put
many
that down.
students of the 5,700 plus students, how many are out of our district that are in our district currently?
I don't have the exact number. It's several hundred in total.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So just some examples. Here's an open enrollment poster that went up in various shops around Roanoke Park and Cotati. Here's our lawn signs. Here's our direct mailer that went out everywhere, one side of it anyway. And here is one of our ads in a local newspaper. And here's one of our school brochures, one side of the Marguerite Hahn brochure. And here's the Code to the Future banner. And here are banners for all of our schools, just as a couple examples. Next, jumping into the surveys. So IDT exit surveys, we had a total of 88 surveys that parents took for us, and 68 of those never attended. They just applied to continue staying out of the district, and 20 attended and then wanted to leave. So of the never attended families that chose to leave, they left because, and then they put specialized programs elsewhere, originally started school outside of the district, negative perception for 13, and work childcare not in the district, and then siblings, then one other. Of the other 20 that actually attended us, 6 were leaving for specialized programs, 5 didn't have good experiences with us, and 3 wanted to stay with friends, and then personal reasons and a few others. This question was, what grade will your child be entering for next school year? And here is the breakdown for a total of 102. Some families had multiple children. You can see there's more in secondary than in elementary.
Matt, can I ask you how many people, where did the survey go? How was it pushed out?
So anyone who filled out an IDT, we asked them to fill out a survey.
But
And-
where was the IDT available? Just on our website? Or?
Yeah, they can get it on our website, they can get it at the school sites, they can come by student services, and then when they delivered it to Kelly, she asked them to please fill out a survey. We also emailed them a Survey Monkey with the exact same questions to every single family who filled out an inter-district transfer and requested that they fill it out.
Okay.
And that's what took so long is probably 3/4 of our survey results, they chose to do it manually on paper, and so tabulating it all with all the questions was very time consuming. Next year, I think I'd like to get maybe a laptop in the student services office, so when parents come in, they could take it right then and there, and it wouldn't take us so long to tabulate all the results. What is your school of residence? And so here you can see of the 102 responders where they would be going. Once again, you can tell there's more in secondary.
For the secondary, can we go back?
Yeah.
Do we know the 58, how many of those are going to private schools? Because there are 3 main private schools that draw, you have Sonoma Academy, you have St. Vincent's, and Cardinal Newman.
I don't have that, I didn't include that slide, or this presentation could take a very long time, but the vast majority of our secondary high schooler students who are leaving go to Annalee and Petaluma High School, and Santa Rosa High is a distant third. But Annalee has almost 100 of our students.
So Matt, if
Yes.
these are parents who are filling out an interdistrict transfer.
Right.
So none of these would be would be going to private because you wouldn't go through that process.
Correct.
To apply to private,
and they wouldn't be
nor
going
for
to charter schools.
or
Although
charters as
some
well.
are kind and fill out an interdistrict transfer when they go to a charter school anyway, even they don't need to, but some of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. But we did ask, and the vast majority are public schools.
So what, do we ask them, are they going there for programs, or is it just perception, or is the parents
Yeah,
work
I'll
that
get to that.
way?
I'll
I
get-
mean, there's a lot of different reasons.
There is, and we had to balance. We tried to keep the bulk of our survey to about 10 questions. Otherwise, parents won't fill it out.
Sure.
I mean, I could ask 50 questions and really drill down, but no one would fill it out.
I can't tell you how many people I hang up on, they want a survey, just because they don't have the
Right,
time.
right.
Sorry,
Yeah,
click,
there's
click,
survey
click.
fatigue that you have to be
Yeah,
aware
but
of
it's
there.
like,
Yeah.
You get a receipt at the store, here, win $1 survey, it's thrown away.
Yes, exactly. Survey highlights. So why did you look for another school outside of CRP-USD? Number 1 is childcare with 23 responses. 21 said originally started school outside the district, special programs, and you can read down the list. They plan to move. In a way, this is encouraging. I'm not, they do have special programs. I would be worried if number 1 was you're not, we want something you're not offering. Childcare is a big part of it, or they didn't start in our district. It doesn't mean that we don't have work to do, but
Sure.
nothing incredibly alarming jumped out. Can we have done anything differently to keep you in the district? Can we change your mind? Is there anything we can do? And there's 68 responses said no. So I was kind of hoping to see something. Yes, if you would do X, then we would come back, but that wasn't the case. So, and then the rest of the responses are very small sample sizes.
So is this 68 responded out of the 339 interdistrict transfers from the prior slide?
Correct.
So less than a third.
Right.
It's that person like me throwing away the survey.
Yeah, I can't force them to. We
Right.
went to great lengths, but I couldn't corner
We
them
won't give you
too
the transfer.
aggressively. What attracted you to the school that you chose? I thought, okay, well, if we're not doing anything wrong per se, why did you go? So this gets to your question left. So social reasons, whatever that really means, I think that usually means that they're already out and their friends are out. Specialized programs, but then those that mark specialized programs, only a few specified. There was room in the survey for them to specify, and so of the 23, we have a couple for ArtQuest and band, and only 1 for FFA, orchestra, choir, and gate. So, nothing huge there. And then once again, work and daycare pop up here. So then we asked, did negative information about your school of residence or the school district influence your decision? There were 166 total responses because people could choose multiple. That's why there's so many. 50 said no, and then the rest you can see. A lot of it seems to be friends, parents, students, and community members are the largest, and then it goes down from there. Some performance indicators, some things in a local paper, even our school board meetings, social media, things like that. Now we get to intra-districts, transferring within schools, and really this really focuses between our two middle schools more than anything else. That's where the vast majority of our intra-district transfers come from. And so we started with the question, has your child ever attended, technology middle school, since there's usually some transfer requests out. And 7 said yes and 44 said no, which tells us that parents are choosing, or requesting to leave, but they've never sampled the waters. And then why do you want to transfer from this school to the other school? And number 1 was for the EXL program. It's very popular over there. After-school daycare was large. Carpooling was big. So it's interesting that the top 3 have absolutely nothing to do with this school whatsoever. We have after-school care, carpooling, and their specialized program. And then a lot of smaller responses. A few mentioned student conflicts, and then once again, you kind of get into siblings, students' friends are attending, that type of thing. And then what might encourage you to reconsider, and a lot of them said nothing, which at first you can take as a negative, but really what that tells me is we can dump all sorts of stuff at another school, and if it doesn't change their mind, I don't know. I wish I had more information on that. Some said if we moved Excel here, but notice it's only 6 of them said if we moved Excel here. That's not a huge number. Some said if I don't get into Excel, if my family was already here. So for me in this particular side, nothing huge jumps out like, well, if we do X at this school, that will stop, people requesting to leave. What attracted you to LJ and EXL was number 1, family, siblings is another, closer to home, daycare nearby, recommended. Once again, nothing pointing out shortcomings of this site, just, your family's over there, they have one program over there that you might like, and it's closer or childcare is nearby. Jumping to entries, why do students and families choose to come to our district? Multiple answers were possible, and they chose, number 1 was the location of our schools and the quality of the school facilities. I have to say, coming from another district, that our facilities really are, terrific, truly terrific. Academic rigor, parent involvement, unique educational programs, so a lot of positive stuff there. How did you hear about us? Now remember, these are IDT surveys, so they're not our own. So we're talking about people coming into our district from outside of our district. So how did you hear about us from outside of our district? Because the bulk of our marketing is targeted to our own families. So 11 said friends, our district website, parents, Facebook, community members. But if you look near the bottom, you could see that radio advertisements are at 0 as far as them saying that's how they heard about us. I wouldn't expect some of these like posters in stores and to really, we only put those up in our neighborhoods. Same with lawn signs. But the postcards that we sent out, we sent some outside of our area, and no one listed those as a reason either. And then we said, is there anything else you would like to share that might help us provide a great educational experience for your child? And no one responded to that question, which I was really hoping they'd say, well, if you do X, Y, or Z, but no responses whatsoever. So a couple takeaways. Families choose to leave primarily for work childcare. Students are already out. Specialized program, there is a little negative perception, according to slides 13 and 14. We do lose larger numbers in secondary, and there is some, like I said before up above, a little negative information about our district. People did choose that as one of the factors, not the factor, but a factor in them looking elsewhere. And a lot of that happened to be word of mouth and a few social media posts. Takeaways on intra-transfers. The draw to LJ, they have EXL, siblings, daycare, and carpooling stood out, and there was no huge reason why this school really wasn't chosen other than those listed. And that's I went over my 10 minutes, sorry, Tony.
So,
But
questions? Of the students coming in, majority of those coming into Tech High?
yes, they are, that is the largest draw, followed by EXL at LJ.
So those two programs
Yep.
are major draw of outside students.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we know, if they're coming in to go to LJ, do they continue on to our high schools?
I don't know that.
So if the biggest draw is LJ and Tech High, and Tech High's capped at the number of students, LJ's capped at the number of students, you've got a lottery. Advertising to pull kids into our two biggest draws does what if we don't have the room to take them?
Assuming that, I think we would want to advertise our other programs, like a lot of the great things that are happening at the ranch with their new pathway programs and their new facilities, to attract people from outside the district into our district that's not specifically targeted at those programs. Places where we do have room.
Tech High is not capped. You still have space for more students.
It's close. We took a tour with Josh Savage. We went through, and it's pretty close to being capped.
Okay.
Pardon me?
Sharon, use your microphone, please.
About 50. Mm-hmm.
We could accept another about 20, 25, 60 staff that we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't know about us, they don't apply.
Right.
We had a year where they didn't know about us, which is one of our small numbers.
Especially since we are moving the campus. So
Right.
really, you need to advertise it to keep it alive and keep it thriving.
And I know you've told me that some of the new materials you have.
Oh, yeah, some of the places that we've gone, if we didn't have, the first year I went, we didn't have the materials. We looked compared to the schools we compete with, like Sonoma Academy is one of our biggest competitors. To keep our public school kids here versus going there on scholarship. And some of the other schools, it was a huge difference. And then once Matt got me some materials, I felt like I could at least pretend to play with big boys.
So my understanding is we have 40 kids from outside of the district at Tech High. Is that still about the average number?
Per grade level.
Per grade level?
Yeah, per grade level.
And so what's the max that we would put at Tech High? Have we decided that yet?
I don't know.
Well, if we're gonna keep 3 teachers at each grade level, we're kind of capped at somewhere around a max of 100 each. But just like every other high school, we do lose kids along the way for this reason, that reason, the other reason. But if you're gonna keep that small school feel and have those teachers, because you need to add kids at groups of 30, right? Because that's a whole nother teacher. And so to expand that up, you would have to plan that out.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, when you say small school, is there a goal with the marketing to go to 450? You know, maybe that's something that,
I think that's something
it's not
we'd
solved tonight.
Right,
but,
we'd have to have a
that-
broader conversation,
Right, right.
does the facility hold it? Do we have staff for it?
And then, so some of the other, gems that we have, obviously, we have a middle school K-8 type of thing.
Absolutely.
For those parents that want, I mean, I have 2 grandchildren in a charter school that their parents love the K-8 concept, not in this district because they live elsewhere.
Correct.
We have smaller enrollment elementary schools too. So if parents are looking for that, we could easily market that as a draw too type of things.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Matt.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, number 6, public comment. I don't have any cards, so we will go to 7, communications, student board member reports. Is this the last one for both of you?
Yeah.
Have you kept it under half an hour this tonight, or what?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Okay. Apparently I'm going.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. This month has definitely lived up to the Wild May expectations. Even though we only have one more week of school, there's still quite a bit left that we're somehow packing in. April was the month of state testing for Tech High. We tested in English, math, and science. Last week and the week before, we had AP testing for our AP class offerings of U.S. history, English language and composition, calculus AB and BC, biology, physics, statistics, Spanish, literature and composition, government, and macroeconomics. ASB gifted every student a pencil for their test with a note of encouragement. On April 26th, we had our drama showcase at Lawrence Jones Middle School. The house was nearly packed for this amazing performance put on by our drama class. There was a short Sherlock Holmes play, as well as many musical numbers. It was honestly one of my favorite Tech High events because I had no idea just how talented our drama students are. We had our finale rally on May 3rd. At the rally, we had our annual Mr. Titan competition, which is always a crowd favorite. And during the rally, K-Hits 104.9 and the Sonoma County Office of Education showed up to surprise Mrs. Campos and tell her that she had won Sonoma County Teacher of the Month. Students had nominated her for the award, but she had absolutely no clue and was actually filming the announcements because she thought that somebody else was going to be chosen. Her family members had secretly come to the rally as well, so she was truly surprised and ecstatic to be honored. However, the awards didn't stop there for Mrs. Campos because at the Education Foundation Teacher Appreciation Reception, she also won 21st Century Educator of the Year, going from month to year in just a few weeks. Let's just say it's definitely been quite the eventful and emotional month for Mrs. Campos, and she truly deserves all the recognition she is getting as our English teacher and ASB supervisor. At the Rohnert Park City Council meeting on May 14th, our incoming ASB cabinet was recognized by the mayor. Each member of the cabinet received a certificate of recognition to honor students for their commitment and voluntary service to Tech High in the upcoming school year. Recently, Tech High was elated to discover that based on the U.S. News and World Report's high school ranking, we are ranked 29th in the state and 235th in the nation. This ranking is based on a combination of college readiness, math and reading proficiency and performance, underserved student performance, breadth of college curriculum, and graduation rate. This was a very exciting announcement, and it reassured our students and staff that their hard work pays off. Students at Tech High recently applied for the Manilow Music Project Band Grant Competition. The winner receives $100,000 in equipment for their band. Tech High currently doesn't have a band, but is starting a class next year that has already been filled. Although the district has been instrumental in supporting creating a band program on campus, we don't have the resources to get instruments for all of our students, and as we want band to be an experience for all, not just those who can afford their own instruments, this grant would be an amazing opportunity. To apply, we had to create a 5-minute video explaining who we are as a school and why we need the grant. Students worked together to film and edit the video, and the backing music was even created by some of our students. Our video was posted on YouTube and has over 1,000 views and almost 1,500 votes on the competition website. The voting ended last week, and at the conclusion, our video was on the leaderboard. Voting isn't the only factor in choosing the winning school, as passion, need, and community involvement are also important. The winner has yet to be announced, but no matter the result, this has been an amazing opportunity to bring our community together to start our band program. We thank everyone who voted and encourage you to watch the video if you have not to see what music and band mean to our students. On YouTube, you can search Manilow Music Project Tech High and you'll find the video. Last Thursday, the seniors took off on their grad night Disneyland trip. We left at 12:30 on Friday morning and rode by bus to Anaheim, arriving at Bubba Gump's for breakfast at 9 a.m. We then entered the park for a day of fun with our class in the happiest place on earth. We rode rides, ate food, and got to spend time with our teachers and friends. At 9 p.m., grad night began in California Adventure. The park was closed off for only seniors, and they set up dances in different areas of the park. The rides were also all open, so we got to continue our Disney adventure until 2 a.m. when grad night came to a close. We all then piled back on the bus for another night of trying to sleep on a moving bus. We were all quite exhausted after this 18-hour day in the parks, but it was definitely worth it for all the fun that we had together. On Monday, we had our annual cardboard car race. Every year, the seniors and this year, the juniors, created a vehicle using only cardboard and duct tape that can support a passenger. Groups push or pull their cardboard creations to race to the finish of our course. The groups with the fastest times competed in semifinals, and in the end, the senior team, Dukes of Hazzard, was victorious. This is a heavily anticipated event each year, and students of all grades leave class to watch the races. Trustee Wilterman also attended to see the fun and engineering creation, so thank you for coming to this Treasure Tech High event. Next week is Senior Week. Every day is filled with fun activities like senior picnic, breakfast, and awards night. The awards night is Wednesday at LJMS at 6, and our senior picnic is Thursday at M Park from 11:30 to 1. We're having food, a jumpy, and other games, and we encourage the board members to come to see these senior events. Graduation is on May 31st at 3 at the Green Music Center, and we hope everyone can come to send off our seniors into their futures. Thank you so much for this opportunity to serve on the board. It's been an amazing experience, and I've learned so much about our district. This position has furthered my interest in public relations, so once again, thank you.
Okay, as the school year comes to an end, the students are insanely busy studying for finals, finishing projects, and completing extracurricular activities. The seniors not only have to prepare for finals, but they are also preparing for graduation and are more than ready to begin their next phase of life. This has been a very busy month for us. The tag building opened on Saturday, April 27th. Alumni, community members, students, and staff were awed by the new theater art gymnasium building. Speeches were given and a dedication was made to Henry J. Sarlott, for whom the gymnasium was named after. Mrs. Holman's class led tours around the building for all who attended. On May 2nd, ASB held their third blood drive of the year and collected over 40 units of blood. That same week was the Prom Spirit Week, and Monday was Checkerboard Mania, Tuesday was True Hero Tuesday, so the students dressed as firefighters, doctors, lifeguards, teachers, etc. Wednesday was Fan Day, so you wore a shirt that supported your favorite team or band, and Thursday was Blast from the Past Day, so you dressed from a specific decade for each grade level. And Friday was our last rally and color by class. On May 3rd, the Rancho Cotati students enjoyed the final rally for the 2018-2019 school year. The rally began in the old gym and transitioned into the new tag building gym to watch the senior slideshow. The seniors and juniors had a fantastic time at prom on May 4th. Prom is held at the Peacock Gap in San Rafael, and all those attended enjoyed the opportunity to dress up and socialize while listening to good music and indulging in the dessert bar. It was a gelato bar this year, which was exciting. May 19th was the senior tailgate. Since seniors were the most spirited this semester, they were allowed to park their cars in the quad, and food was provided by the ASB class. May 21st, or today, was Senior Signing Day. ASB made a poster for each college to which seniors will be attending. There were also posters for the armed forces, as some seniors have elected to serve our country. There were also workforce posters for the students who plan to work in the trades. Seniors had the opportunity to sign the poster that represented their next step, and I believe this year we had over 25 different colleges. Yearbooks are being distributed all week, and Senior Awards Night is tomorrow and Wednesday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. in the Tag Building Theater, where seniors will be recognized for their academic achievements as well as scholarships they may have received. Next week is Senior Week. Seniors will start off the week by enjoying Memorial Day. Tuesday is Cap and Gown Pickup Day. Wednesday is the Senior Picnic, which will be held at M Park. And let's see, the seniors will also be enjoying a trip to Epicenter that night, and Senior Sunset will take place after graduation practice on Thursday, and Senior Breakfast will be the morning of graduation. The graduation ceremony will be held on Friday, May 31st at 6 p.m. on the Rancho Cotati football field. And on a personal note, I would also like to thank the school board for giving me the opportunity to serve as the Rancho Cotati school board representative this year. I've learned so much about the district and community government, and I was so happy to witness how hard the school board really works to make sure that students are the top priority in every decision made. I appreciate the opportunity to work with all of you, and it has been my pleasure to serve on the board this year. Thank you.
Thank you. You both are stellar, and congratulations, and best of luck next year.
Thank you.
I've seemed to, we'll see your names in lights and other places in the future. So. Okay, we have 7B, the Rohnert Park Cotati Educators Association report.
Good evening. As we get towards the end of this school year, I want to thank all of those who have worked so hard to help our students, whether teachers, administrators, custodians, or whoever has worked so hard. I was taking a look at the list of our retirees on this paper. They represent 350 years of service. That's a lot that we're going to be losing. So the rest of us have to kick in and go back to work, I guess. Congratulations to the district on the tag building. It was my privilege to be able to go to the dedication. What a gorgeous building. What a jewel that will be for our community. And thank you to those who had the vision to get it going. We also want to thank Josh Savage and Robert Valdivia and Gonzalez and their incredible work that they have done this last year in so many areas. We hope that everyone will have a wonderful and safe summer. To conclude my time, we were going to have Joaquin Bernal speak tonight about outdoor ed, but his wife decided to have a baby yesterday. I don't get it. So in his place will be Lisa Dulcas will speak about outdoor ed. And then it will be a real privilege to have Andrew Helgren, one of our students, a senior, speak, who has been through our school system since kindergarten.
Hello again, everyone. I really was going to come here with Joaquin, but so at Richard Crane about 25 years ago, I decided to join Therese Raffoni and Yvonne Cobert from La Fiesta to take our fifth graders to outdoor ed. Lo and behold, we haven't stopped going. So it's been an amazing experience. Some of our board members have their children that have come through, and some teachers, our student reps. Andrew, way to go. Outdoor ed's been an amazing part of our environmental education and part of the growth of our kids. So we decided it's worth it along the way, and so we brought some of our students tonight that want to tell you a little bit about it. They made a slideshow. Olivia, Michaela, and Emily. Can I just go? Oh, okay. There we go. Emily, why don't you tell us a couple of reasons why we go?
So we go to outdoor ed for many reasons. So the first reason is to build a community. And then also another one is to learn outside the classroom walls. Sometimes it gets kind of boring sitting in a classroom learning math problems. So it's good to get outside the classroom, get some fresh air, and learn about nature and our community.
And we do it early in the year to build community, so we go right away, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we go in September or October.
Yep. Michaela, tell one or two centers that we do out there each year.
So centers, they're also a way of learning, and so day one, we hike into camp, which isn't really considered a center, but the students will complete 4 centers, which include the night hike, and then day 2, 4 more centers, then the beach and bonfire. Then day 3 of outdoor ed, we clean up, hike out of camp, and have lunch at the beach.
And Michaela, do you get to use a flashlight for your night hike?
No, you don't.
You don't, okay. Brave children. All right, something you learned about you?
Something I learned about me, I thought that I was
Yeah. So what I thought I was kind of like a technology kind of person, but then I learned I really like the outdoors. I also learned that some of the people in my cabin were nice. Instead of the negative feelings I had for them, I didn't really like them until I really got to know them. What I learned about Point Reyes National Park, I learned that it's a great place for learning that's outside the classroom. It's basically an outdoor classroom. It also helps you learn about the animals and other things that live and are on California's coast. And then also how outdoor ed benefits others. It helps them learn about the world around us. And it also has plenty of hands-on activities that most kids love.
Yep. And I'm going to put a couple kids on the spot and say, Carlina, you remember going?
I do.
Yes. Something you learned about yourself or something you took with you to expeditionary learning? Or Andrew?
Well, I don't know. Outdoor ed was definitely one of my highlights of 5th grade. It definitely built a community, as we said, by cabin. I still remember how much fun we had, and just learning while doing is the biggest part of Excel, and that's what led me to go to Excel, was because I knew that I really responded well to that sort of education from going on that trip. So it's definitely a great experience that I think all students should have the opportunity to go through.
The camaraderie that we got. I was put in a cabin with boys, and a lot of them I have not yet met, and they weren't even in my class at school. And we still talk about it to this day. My cabin was the cleanest cabin we are awarded, but we were also the loudest cabin, and Ms. Dulcas and Mr. Otto claimed it sounded like we were watching a football game and screaming about it at night. So we had to clean the bathrooms. But we learned a lot, had a lot of fun bonding together.
Also a good life skill.
I apologize, I'm losing my voice. So my experience for outdoor ed, I look back to this day about outdoor ed, which wasn't that long ago, and I can say without a doubt that it was by far my best experience of 5th grade,
because it taught me a lot about communicating with other people. Plus, I agree with Emily. I considered myself more of a technology person. I'd rather be indoors than outdoors. And this made me really nervous we're going to outdoor ed because I don't really sleep away from home much or any of that, but my mom came with me. And after just an hour of being at Point Reyes, I realized that I was going to have the greatest time there. And some of the benefits, which I could only fit 3, I was limited to 1 slide. One of the most important benefits of this trip is that it teaches kids responsibility. And if you lose your bandana, which is given to you before camp starts, it's kind of like your ticket to getting meals. Otherwise, you have to do a silly dance in order to earn it back. And another benefit is that kids get to learn about nature, which will be helpful next year when they have to do more of this type of stuff, which means they'll already have some knowledge about it. And the last benefit, which I brought up before, is in middle school, we'll have a lot of these types of trips. So this kind of helps students prepare for the other trips that's ahead of us.
So I did what camp prepares you for. So what camp prepares you for is kind of what Michaela said. You get a bandana before you come to camp while you're hiking. And if you lose your bandana, you have to earn it by doing a dance in order to eat. Just like 5th grade, when you lose a pencil, you have to give something to earn the pencil back. Also, first comes, first serve, so you have to learn to be flexible, and it prepares you to be flexible.
All right, thanks to all our sponsors. We've had major sponsors support and very loyal support, especially from these companies here. A lot of our food is donated by them, so the cost is pretty low for a 3-day trip. It's $100 for the kids, partly because the teachers and the parents do all the cooking and cleaning and teaching, but especially thanks to our sponsors. Out there having fun at centers? If you haven't been to Point Reyes National Seashore, today was Ranger Day. We give back to our Evergreen community by putting on a Ranger Day, and the students do models, they teach games, and kindergarten through 4th comes and learns from them for a day. It's an amazing experience. Thank you, and thanks a lot, Mr. Bernal. He says, future CRPUSD student. I said I would share.
Hello, I'm Andrew Helgren, graduating senior of Technology High School. I've been a student in the Cotati-Rohnert Park Unified School District since the beginning of my formal education in kindergarten at Goldridge Elementary School. And from that beginning until now, I have received a never-ending support system in the form of my educators. From Ms. Zeiss in kindergarten to Mr. Freeburn in high school, I've never felt left behind in the classroom. When my parents told me that for 2nd grade I would have to change to Evergreen because of Goldridge's closure, I was scared and sad. I had never switched schools before, but more important to me was that I had to leave behind the Goldridge family that I had become to be a part of. I was dreading the switch to Evergreen. However, as soon as I got to Evergreen, it was not only the students and new friends that I had made, but the teachers, like Miss Lutsky, that immediately changed my mind about Evergreen. I was greeted with the same welcoming and loving environment that I had experienced at Goldridge. I had only amazing teachers throughout my whole elementary school experience, and what I think most noteworthy is not only the lasting effect that these teachers I did have, like Miss Dulcus, left on me, but also the impact of the teachers who I never had, like Mr. Otto and Miss Iona, who stand out and I will never forget. Even though I was never in their classroom, they still taught me so much about schooling and just life in general. The teachers whose classes, yes. In middle school, I attended Lawrence Jones in the Expeditionary Learning Program and was yet again touched by the educational professionals who had then become a large part of my life. EXL provided so much growth for me, and that was in no small part due to the likes of Mr. Seibel and Mr. Menth, who not only, again, taught me skills inside the classroom, but also outside and becoming an adult. In 8th grade, I made the decision not to apply to Technology High School and follow in the footsteps of my older brother and sister at Rancho Cotati High School. This decision was a departure from the majority of my friends and lent itself to plenty of fear due to the larger environment compared to what I was used to in expeditionary learning. I quickly found comfort in the new environment, again, due to the amazing educational staff at Rancho Cotati High School. I was provided so many educational opportunities at Rancho, and it was clear that my teachers wanted what was best for me, even if that was not in their classroom. Mr. Amos inspired and pushed me to take Photoshop at the JC in place of his Photoshop class. And Mr. Vogt and Mr. Richardson, my biology and Algebra 1 teachers, inspired my love for math and science, prompting me to apply to transfer to Technology High School in my sophomore year. Rancho left such a lasting impression on me that I could not stay away for long, as I took AP Biology with Mr. Vogt at Rancho when it was still not offered at Tech my junior year, and weights with Coach Yaya the first semester of this year. I was also afforded the opportunity of participating in the North Bay Construction Corps, a program for high school seniors to be exposed to the construction industry. This program is a link venture between the North Coast Builders Exchange and the Santa Rosa Junior College. But it would not have been possible without being allowed to use not only Rancho's shop, but their amazing shop teacher, Cole Smith. Lastly, Technology High School has been an educational experience for me like no other. It is times few and far between that I feel like I am in the typical monotony of a classroom. Tech High provides an educational environment that inspires its students and pushes us further than we would ever be able to reach without it. If you told me that I would take and pass the AP exams for biology, language and composition, and United States history all in my junior year, I would have called you crazy. But thanks to the immense support from teachers like Miss King and Miss Campos, I've accomplished so much more than I had ever thought possible. My mentors at Tech High are so much more than just classroom teachers, even in the small classes that are not required or popular. I know that I can always come to the amazing men and women at my school with anything I need to talk about, whether it's Mr. Freebairn and Mr. Zwing always telling me how important it is for me to earn my Eagle Scout, or Miss Woods who just brings a light when you're having a bad day. I know that the teachers of Cotati Roanoke Park Unified School District are always there for me. Tech High has given me the opportunity not only to strive as a student, but as an athlete as well. My high school experience would not have been the same had I not been given the chance to throw and jump for our track team. Thanks to the support of not only the teachers that coached my junior year, but also the support of parents like Mark Orloff and Chris Cole that made our team possible this year. I'm so excited to know that the athletes at Tech High will be supported for years to come with the impending construction of the new track at Tech Middle School and the new Tech High School campus. The only area I have to critique throughout my educational experience from kindergarten through 12th grade was that during my transfer to Rancho Cotati High School from Lawrence Jones, there was a lack of understanding of what the expeditionary learning students were capable of. Me and a couple of my friends were denied the opportunity to take geometry as freshmen at Rancho, and Mr. Richardson always told us how we were over-prepared for his Algebra 1 honors class. But luckily, when I transferred to Tech High, there's an amazing program offered there called Algebra 2 Accelerated, which is taught by Mr. Torrey, and it combines Algebra 2 and pre-calculus that prepared me to take AP Calculus this year. I took advantage of programs like Expeditionary Learning, the North Bay Construction Corps, and unique schooling like Tech High that has given me a diverse education that is only possible in our district. You may have noticed the overwhelming use of opportunity in what I have said this evening. While this was unintentional to begin with, upon making corrections, the repetition felt fitting. Thanks to said opportunity, I'm confident in saying that this school district and all the professionals that fill it with love has crafted the greatest version of me that was ever possible. Thank you.
So we have 7C, receipt of official correspondence. So we have.
Yes, yes, and I won't read them in their entirety, but we do have three items this evening. The first is from the Sonoma County Office of Education, from Dr. Steve Harrington, Sonoma County Superintendent of Schools, which validates under the Williams Act Thomas Page Elementary and John Reed for the period ending April 2019. So congratulations on the school for meeting its Williams settlement requirements. The second item is from the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, Accrediting Commission for Schools. And I'll just read the very first part of this. This is addressed to Principal Don Mawini. The Accrediting Commission for Schools, Western Association of Schools and Colleges announces the action taken at the spring 2019 commission meeting. The commissioners have determined Technology High School meets the WASC criteria for accreditation. This accreditation status is based on all of the information provided by the school, including the self-study report and the satisfactory completion of the on-site accreditation visit. It is the decision of the commission to grant 6-year accreditation status through June 30th, 2025. Congratulations.
Excuse me, Tony, is there a way to get a copy of the full report? Or is it on the website?
The, yeah, the self-study.
That would be great. I know, it's really big. Okay, thank you.
Perfect. And then finally, from Eric Roser, Treasurer of the County of Sonoma, certifies that the Sonoma County Investment Pool is in compliance with the county investment policy, and that the pool has sufficient cash flow available to meet all budget expenditure requirements for the next 6 months. This is a quarterly report, and it is important because as a school district, we don't have a checking account or a savings account. All of our funds go into the Sonoma County Investment Pool, and when it's doing well, that's a good thing for us. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Okay, 8, the consent agenda. Let's have a motion to approve A through E, G, and then K through P.
You said A through?
A through E,
Mhm.
G, K through P.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, 1 absence. So I pulled F, H, I, and J. So starting with F on the ratification of the commercial warrants, I had a concern with the fact that we issued a check to a consultant that worked for us who's no longer working for us, Glenn Jones. And my concern there is threefold. One, the individual was issued a number of Cachati Roner Park equipment, cameras, et cetera. I don't know the extent of it. I was unaware of that, being on this board. And so my concern is when you issue, I'm a contractor, and I've also worked for private corporations and for government organizations. There's a fine line between employees and contractors, and you shouldn't cross over that line if it's a contractor. And I think issuing equipment to that contractor, we went over the line there. We've received that equipment back, and we've paid that person for, I assume, the rights for the work that they had done. So I was concerned the way that happened. So, any questions on that? Okay.
I had a couple questions on the warrant. There is $27,000 paid to Clean Smart Solutions for the month of April, janitorial supplies. Do we know why it jumped like threefold? Any idea?
No, I don't know that offhand.
Could we find out?
Sure.
The other question was, what is OptiFit International? Do we know who that company is and what they're providing?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
If you ask me, send it in advance, I can have these answers to you
Okay.
prior to the board meeting.
I will go ahead and do that. I think that was the other question. Our PG&E bill went from about $40,000 a month to almost $91,000. So we could find out what happened there as well. I'll send you a list.
Sure, thank you.
Of these ones that I don't know what they were for.
Okay, any other questions? If not, may I have a motion to approve 8F, the ratification of commercial warrant registers?
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 8H, the approval of the agreement with Social Innovations, or School Innovation, excuse me, and Achievement for 2019-20. This agreement is for, I believe, $37,000 for a service in which they will provide truancy letters to parents. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's data analytics with that as
Yeah,
well.
I understand that. My question is there a module in Power Schools that does the same thing?
Not as efficiently, and
Not sufficient?
it's an add-on as well.
Okay, because if we add it on, it's not in our current Power Schools.
Not in the way that this would provides.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So following this contract for $37,500 is the Power Schools contract for another year for $137,000. I'm wondering, I did some reading, it's 74 pages on the Power School module, seems pretty robust. If we're doing attendance tracking in Power Schools, wouldn't Power Schools flow to the new module that would send out the truancy letters?
I don't have the expertise on Power Schools to be able to respond to that in.
So we don't have anybody here tonight who's I think Robert Stewart is the student services tech.
He is one of our Power School experts, yes.
So did we find out how much the module through Power Schools would cost? Did we get a competing estimate to say Power Schools would cost this versus this?
No, I think the idea with the school innovations, knowing that it does a lot more. We actually, last year's agreement with them for A2A was much more extensive. And so we actually evaluated it and we tailored it back to bring it down to this amount. Last year, I believe it was 64,000 or so on that. So my understanding is that this will do a lot more for us and more efficiently than what the Power School module will do.
I just want to interject. So what would happen is the Power School can generate the letters, but then we have to use office staff to send them and manually send them. The big piece we're using in A2A is it's automatically generated and sent. And so the amount of letters, and I don't know, I know it's in the LCAP, you can read it in the LCAP, how many hundreds of, we send probably close to 20,000 letters. It's one of the things in terms of staff efficiency.
I just don't understand why we spend $500,000 on a student information system if it is not robust enough and automated enough to do this one piece that we have to pay almost another $38,000 a year for.
That's the labor though, that's the actual labor and materials to send out the letters. So 20,000 letters. And is that including the mailing too? Like the postage and all that stuff? So even if we use Power Schools, we'd still have to pay someone to mail out 20,000, pay for postage for 20,000, paper envelopes.
Okay. All right, so that was kind of my question for pulling J at the same time as H. So if there are not any other questions about J, I have a motion to approve H and J. Or do you have to do them separately? Can't combine them? Okay, we'll do H first. May approval to approve 8H.
So moved.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Opposed.
Motion carries 3-1. And then we'll have to go to I then, Jay. So I, approval of the advertising contract for Sonoma Media Investments. In the Budget Committee, we agreed that we weren't going to do the radio advertising, which I see we're not doing that. And my only question about the advertising contract, when I looked at it, I was kind of confused as to the way they phrased it, saying, $31,000 investment and this and that, but then you're saying we're spending $14,000.
Yeah, it's really 14.
Right.
If it were a year-long contract that we advertised in the Sunday paper,
Right.
every
Right, no.
They're saying it would be a $30,000.
Okay, I was confused as, they're kind of selling it like a marketing tool, like, look, you're getting this benefit
Right.
for 14,000. So, I appreciate that, but I think we need to review that next year to see what the return on this is and see if we're doing that, so.
So this is once a week?
It's
Once a week.
A Sunday paper for those 4 months.
For $14,000.
Yeah, advertising is expensive.
And on their website.
And the contract was signed a month ago,
In April.
prior to coming to the board.
Okay. 8I, have a motion to approve the advertising contract with Sonoma Media Investments.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed is 3-1, passes 3-1. And then the last one, J, I've already had my questions answered, so if there's no other questions, may I have a motion to approve 8J? Approval of the agreement with Power Schools for 2019-20.
Making a motion to approve the agreement with Power Schools for 1920.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Educational Services, 9A, Local Control Accountability Plan, the LCAP.
Just want to give everybody a little bit of an update. It's coming. It is coming. Robert and I are going to be spending some quality time together here in the next couple weeks and going through all the budget issues, but we're getting it squared away. We will have it all ready for public viewing, and it will be coming to you guys on June 11th. So we've conducted all of our focus groups. We're meeting with all the unions. We have got lots of student feedback, parent surveys, and now just gathering all the data and writing it all up. So that's going to come your way in the next few weeks here.
Thank you. So 9B, Special Education Committee Report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a short PowerPoint. I'll try and keep it short. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you the work we've been doing. Yes.
Object of this meeting is to keep it on one day, not two.
Okay, so back in December, the board requested that we put together a committee to look at special education. And while it was an ask of the board, I think it's important to realize that why are we doing this work? Why are we looking at special education within our district? Because we want to ensure that every single student in the Cotati-Rohnert Park Unified School District is equitably supported to achieve high levels of achievement. Who were we? We were a diverse group of district and site administration, teachers, paraprofessionals from across the district, a speech and language pathologist, psychologists, parents, community participants, and 2 trustees. What was our purpose? Our purpose was to gain an understanding of the scope of the programs in our district and who are the student populations that we are serving. We looked at, are there students that we currently serve, either in a non-public school or by a non-public agency, a population of students that we could potentially serve in our district? And are there gaps in our practice or any other unexpected issue that we could improve upon? We wanted to develop specific recommendations to bring to the board and for the district. So how did we accomplish this? The first thing we did was to look closely at what are the services that we are providing in our district, starting in pre-K. And in special education, we support and provide services up till the age of 22 unless a student gets a diploma. So how are we serving students 18 to 22 as well? We looked at where are we providing the services directly ourselves, and where are we needing to contract out, whether that is a county program or an agency that we need to contract with to provide those services. We did an in-depth look at what are the strengths and areas of need by the perceptions of the people within the committee. We looked at district data, state data, and we did an employee survey of everyone within the district We sent something out to get their feedback on areas of strength as well as areas of growth for us. And part of that survey asked, would people like us to come, would they like representatives from the committee to come to their site to hear what they have to say about the strengths and the challenges that they may face in special education. So we did that. We got invited to 3 schools. We were very glad to be there, both at John Reed Technology Middle and at Evergreen. We had great turnout there. So based on all that research that we did, we came with some recommendations. We would recommend that there be some clear and concise procedures. Specifically, these are some of the areas that came to light. Our BEST class, which is our special day classes that we have elementary through high school for students who have social, emotional, and behavioral challenges. We want to look at what are the roles and responsibility for everyone working in those classrooms, as well as those supporting, maybe at the district level. What are the essential components that are going to be a part of every one of those classrooms? We also want procedures related to special ed best practice, IEP development, when we would consider a change in placement for a student, the difference between accommodations and modifications, and what are IEP member roles, including parents, administrators, et cetera. And also, what are the eligibility guidelines for a child to be eligible for special education? Next, we made recommendations around professional development. We want professional development to be differentiated to help to train existing staff and to retain qualified staff. Ideas for professional development are around inclusive education, behavior and de-escalation, and support the continuum of specialized services. So for example, our BEST classes that I was speaking to earlier, our autism focus special day classes, as well as co-teaching that is happening at a variety of levels. Also, we wanted to increase parent involvement in their child's IEP as well as in their child's education. So looking at what are opportunities to provide information to parents and have them actively participate in a meaningful way. We want to continue to meet as a committee, including breakout groups to look at specific areas such as the BEST classrooms. And if we move forward with the recommended special education audit by West Ed that I think you'll be discussing tonight, we'd like to include those recommendations and discuss those within the committee to continue to work together to better what's happening here in the district for all of our students.
Right.
That's it. Any questions?
I think we're good. Thank you.
No, thanks, Rachel. Thank you for this opportunity.
We'll go to 10A, ratification of personnel action report 1819-10A certificated. Any questions? Goodbye.
Thanks, ladies.
See you at a graduation in a week. Thanks for everything. Okay, any questions? If not, may I have a motion?
I move we ratify Personal Action Report 1819-10A certificated.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1 with 1 absent. 10B, ratification of Personal Action Report 1819-10B classified. Any questions? If not, may I have a motion, please?
Bless you. I move we ratify Personal Action Report 1819-10B classified.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1 with 1 absent. 10C, rescind layoff and acceptance of resignation.
So
Any
the-
questions?
Yeah. Would you like me to introduce it or just go straight to questions?
Pardon me?
I was just wondering if you wanted me to introduce it or just go straight to questions.
You can introduce it.
Okay. So in April, at our last board meeting, an employee was laid off of classified service effective June 30th. Since that time, in negotiating the effects of the layoffs, the individual has a right through seniority to bump into a position at the high school, which she was initially interested in doing. But she did come to HR and say that rather than do that, she would like to be able to resign at the end of September in her current position if the layoff could be rescinded. And so we are bringing this this evening for the board's consideration. If the layoff is not rescinded, and then we would just have a bumping process that would push people out of current positions. So it's our recommendation for the trustees to rescind the layoff and accept the resignation.
Questions? If not, may I have a motion?
I move that we rescind the layoff and acceptance of the resignation.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion- No, 3 to 1. 1 absence. Motion approved. 11A, third interim report as of April 30th, 2019.
Okay, so I think the board has received their copy of the third interim report, and there was also attached to the agenda. So the board is aware that we had certified a qualified budget at both first and second interim. With that, we are required by EDCO to present a third interim budget report. The third interim does not require a certification, which is a little bit different than the first and second interim, but it's intended to provide an update on the district's financial condition. We've included the approved fiscal recovery plan into our projections, and as expected, we now meet the 3% minimum reserve level in all 3 years of the projections. So we're here to ask the board to accept the third interim report. That would be the action on that. We're continuing to work on budget development for 2019-20. And the preliminary budget will be presented to the board at the June 11th meeting along with the LCAP, with the final budgeted presented for adoption at the June 25th meeting. So that's kind of a two-step process. Just a reminder that the third interim was based on our current budget, and we're using that to project forward. It's a different process with the adopted budget. We're continuing to build that using up-to-date information, different assumptions or new assumptions that we have. And so I just want to remind the board that the adopted budget will look a little different than what's projected in the second year of the multi-year projections. But we are continuing to expect to have a positive certification at that time. Any questions?
It's a lot of extra work, huh?
It was a lot of extra work. I think a lot of the work, besides actually putting the report together, was from the budget committee. I want to thank the work of the committee. I think we worked well together, came up with some good recommendations, and I think they're all pretty solid on what we're going to be able to move forward with.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions? May I have a motion to accept the third interim report as of April 30th, 2019?
I'll make a, go ahead, Krista.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we accept the third interim report.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, 1 absence. So 11B, resolution of intent to convey land and dedicate a public utility easement and call for a public hearing. So I have to call for a public hearing for this, correct? Or the public hearing next time?
It's just voting on the resolution,
Pardon me?
voting on the resolution.
And calling for the public hearing for next time.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
No, I believe this is the second one for this one. So this would be for the,
This was for the
Oh, I'm
Kaiser-
sorry, yes.
Yeah.
This is for the Keiser Lane.
correct.
Yeah.
So I need to open the public hearing. Open the public hearing. Seeing no public comment. We'll close the public hearing. So, questions before we,
Did we already vote on this?
we vote?
No, the first one was in order to show intent that we were going to do the public hearing. So now we have the resolution for the board's consideration.
Okay.
So, can I have a motion to approve the resolution of intent to convey public land, a dedicated public easement, and call for the public hearing, which we've just had?
So moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Brown?
Yes?
Trustee Chimino?
Yes.
Trustee Gillies?
Yes.
Trustee Wildsmith?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go 10C, resolution of intent to convey public utility easement to PG&E. Call for hearing. So this is coming back to us because of the majority of the vote on this.
That is correct. This was brought to the trustees, went through both meetings earlier this year. And then after, as we were filing the paperwork, we realized that the resolution requires a 2/3 majority of the board, and it was approved on a 3-2 vote, which is 60% of the board and not 67% in rough numbers. And so we're bringing this back. We have representatives from PG&E this evening, I believe, and are here to speak to the need for this easement and this work and answer any of the trustees' questions.
Okay. So Josh, is PG&E going to come forward and explain? Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for your patience.
No worries. Good evening. I'm Adam Linney. I'm our construction manager for the HPR program.
I'm Dilwaz Singh. I'm the project manager for the project.
Lindsay Ambrosini, customer outreach.
I'm Zach Livey, Land Tech, Santa Rosa.
So I'll give you a little bit of history about the program that I represent and how we're involved with the school board this year. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, PG&E moves gas in a couple ways, through our transmission system or through our distribution system. The transmission system operates high volumes of gas at high pressure. The distribution system operates at a much lower pressure. That's what everyone receives their gas at for the most part. Out of our many hundreds of thousands of gas customers, we do have some that take their service directly off of the transmission main. And the program that I represent is to go through it's roughly about 2,500 customers, go through that portfolio and take a couple of actions, either rebuild their existing HBR unit to bring it up to codes, or convert them to a distribution system. And oftentimes, the only reason that we will serve people off a transmission main is if they have high loads themselves, mostly industrial or commercial users, or in some cases, there was just no distribution system when the original service was installed. So the Thomas Page Academy is currently served directly off of our transmission system with one of those services. So it's scheduled to be mitigated. And originally, this job was scoped as a rebuild, so rebuild the existing high-pressure regulator and tie in to the existing service. We ran into some challenges when we scoped the project. Currently, the transmission main is on the south side of the school. It's on a private property, and in order to bring it up to code, we have to move it above ground. The unit is inside a horse corral, so above ground mechanical equipment with 2,500-pound animals moving around is less than ideal. And so, although it would be cheaper to rebuild this, we did scope this to convert it to the distribution main that's out on Madrone Avenue. The distribution system is much more reliable. We don't have to take it down for maintenance like we do the transmission system. And inherently, it's more safe. There are less moving parts with the distribution service as opposed to a transmission service. So that's kind of the background. If Raj, you want to talk about the specific scope about this project real quick?
Oh, sure.
So I can kind of show the scope.
Give me 1 second here. Thank you. Okay.
so currently, we have a distribution main that's on Macron Avenue. It's already there. So what we're proposing is, we're proposing to eliminate this HVR and supply gas to school through this distribution system that's already installed on Drone Avenue. Tap into it, install a new service. It's supposed to be a quarter and inch and a quarter plastic, and hook it to the meter that's already there. Our goal is to be least impactful to the school, so that's why we moved the project to summertime when the school is off. We're proposing to start work in July, beginning of July. So it'll probably take 1.5 week for construction time, and then probably a week for restoration. And we're gonna use trenchless technology to install the service, so we're not digging everything in the driveway. And also, we'll keep the driveway accessible to all the vehicles that we're entering and exiting. If we do have to close, we'll only be closing one lane. And then, so that's the scope of work.
So
We're happy to answer.
For clarification, you're going to use a boring tool as opposed to digging a trench to go through with an 1.25 inch line. And if I understand it right, are you reducing the flow of gas from a higher pressure to a lower pressure? You're talking about what were the two terms you were showing?
Yeah, so I'll get into those
Yeah.
details a little bit. So
Just so I
currently,
understand.
there's a transmission main that runs behind the property.
Right.
That's what you're currently fed off of.
Right.
It operates at a higher pressure.
Right.
We're gonna take your service off of that, and we're gonna transfer you to the distribution main, which runs at a lower pressure.
So does that other line go away, or is that other line still there?
No, the transmission main still feeds all of the distribution centers, so the, when we transfer, transmission pressure down to distribution services and systems, that main will still. So I have a question, you're up, so you have the, whatever, I wanna say switch, cause I'm an electrician, but you have your valve on the private land, and that needs to be upgraded. But does that private land, is that fed off of that valve? So we currently have an easement for the transmission main through the private property. Right. And your tap comes off of there. We're gonna cut that tap off. And, but the. It's not gonna be fed off of the distribution system.
So
That valve, is that whole valve gonna go away? Yes, yeah. And where does the person getting their gas from, the private residents? They're off the distribution system it comes around, I can't remember what street it is, but it's around the corner.
But the higher pressure feed, is that going to another development or
Yeah.
going through
It
in
feeds other
their
distribution
property? So that high pressure line will still be there, correct? And how big of a line is that high pressure line?
I believe it's a 12-inch.
A 12-inch, okay. But, okay.
You guys just like cut it out and put in a
So we're-
piece of pipe, or?
We're just removing the regulator that regulates your pressure down from transmission to distribution. So the distribution line that we're putting to the school, you're gonna receive the same pressure that you're receiving now. We're just removing that piece of equipment that, we don't wanna have to maintain anymore, and we don't wanna have to feed you off of the transmission line. So we're
Okay.
feeding you off that. I think that was.
But others will still be fed off that same line that we're on now.
No. Oh,
It's
yes,
going
yes,
away?
yes.
No, it's still
No.
gonna be there. The purpose of the transmission system is to feed high volumes of gas to other distribution centers for high volume customers. You guys don't need to be fed off the transmission system, based on your loads. It'd be like, like the big power lines, Krista? It'd be
Yeah.
like feeding one house off super high voltage lines. So there's no other distribution, so the only way to get gas to that school was to just tap into like the main line. It'd be like having your house on a freeway.
So this new line's gonna run directly under the parking lot of a K through 8 school.
And it's a
Yes.
smaller line, it's an 1.25 inch line versus a 12-inch line.
There's no place else to run it besides right under the school.
So we did explore a few other options, like you said, to rebuild it. Ultimately felt that was not the most reliable and safe solution. There is a distribution system that's further away on the backside of it, but it would require some multiple easements from private property owners. And typically, we like to run the service in the front of the property so that if there's an emergency, and you call and you give them your address, they're gonna show up for the front of the property on the back.
And I will note that most of your homes, your gas service is running from the front of your home to the back, and it's either near your driveway going, so it's no different than your home service that you have at your residence currently.
Except we're talking about 400 or 500 children. There's so,
Yeah,
I know where it
no,
runs at
yeah,
my house.
I know.
I'm just concerned that this is going directly in front of a school of children versus around or some other.
Every school that receives natural gas will have a very similar service for the property.
And it's safer for the school the way that you are putting it in versus the way that it is currently.
Yes.
I guess the issue is if we had an earthquake and you've got a 12-inch line and that ruptured coming into the school, we'd have a much bigger possible gas leak than an 1.25 inch line coming in. How deep is that? Are you down 3 feet because of a road?
Typically, they're installed 3 foot of cover. I don't know the exact condition of this one, but.
They're what of cover?
3 feet. okay.
3 feet?
Usually, when you're going over a roadway, you have to be at least 2 feet down. And,
Depends on
you know,
distribution.
it depends, yeah, but just, so it's a lot lower pressure level
Correct.
than see, the 12-inch line still concerns me, but when you take off that,
We don't have a 12-inch line going to the school, do we? No, just a,
It's a one
it's just a transmission line. They just tapped off of it. Probably reduce the pressure there, right? Yeah. It's just like we have, except for it'll be off of just a different system. How it should be.
I just have one question. It says Rancho Cotati on the top corner instead of Thomas Page. Is that, should that be changed? Since
Well,
it's going to be 5 county.
The school district.
Oh, yes, Rancho Cotati is the,
City?
no, it's the Rancho. Before it was subdivided, the ranchos were when the Spanish,
Okay, so
it's a
the-
surveying,
it was the subdivision.
yeah. It's an area.
It's old.
well, this explains more. I'm glad you came this time versus last time, because I was envisioning them digging up the trench. I was figuring the only line coming in. So if, in the event of an earthquake, kind of, does it require a PG&E crew to come out and turn off the gas out at the street?
We're putting in what they call a curb valve, so the isolation valve right here.
Right.
With the street intersection, so typically we do require the PG&E crews operate valves.
Right.
But in an emergency, they may direct you to shut it off.
Right.
So what's the downside to leaving it the way that it is?
They're less reliable on the transmission system. You have more moving parts. So in a distribution service, you only have one regulator. It's your house regulator. In a transmission system, you have a minimum of 3. You have the house regulator, you have your primary regulator, and then you have a slam shut or a secondary line. So anytime you have moving mechanical parts, you add another point of failure. So there's less equipment that's involved in distribution service. That's why, like I said, we only have about 2,500 of these transmission customers versus hundreds of thousands of distribution customers.
And the primary reason you're doing this is for safety?
Yes. Yeah, like I said, it's actually cheaper for us to rebuild this.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Are we talking about cost savings for PG&E?
No, it's cheaper. It's cheaper for them to do it, just
other way.
repair the
the way
one
it
that's
is.
on the private property than to do all
Well,
this
that's not
work.
what he said. He said they didn't want to do the upkeep anymore on that switch. Oh,
No,
not the switch, but.
In order to do this rebuild, this would cost us about $50,000, just for construction dollars. To install this new service is probably gonna be around $90,000.
But I mean, the ongoing costs of maintaining what's currently on the private property.
We only maintain them every 3 years, and it's roughly about $1,500 every 3 years. So it's not a significant source of cost for us.
So again, I'm sorry, what is the point of doing this? What is the,
You're gonna be served off a safer, more reliable system.
So if that transmission line that goes through the person's property and where it branches off at that broke, how much pressure is in that 12-inch line?
450 PSI,
Okay, a lot. And then how much is in the other line?
a little under 60.
Yeah, so we're talking about like a major, like a 3/4 inch water supply coming into your house versus a fire hydrant line. And now we're not talking water, we're talking gas. So from a standpoint of explosion or fire and, you know, in a horrible earthquake, I mean, that line could still break, but leading to the school, and I understand where you're doing this, probably if you've got 2,500 customers, you're looking to find safer means of distribution of your product, so.
We'd be getting like transmission pressure at the school if like something failed, right?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
You
so
like
the regulator
transmission.
failed, we overpressurized the house line plumbing in the corner.
How big was the pipe that burst in San Bruno?
That was a 30-inch diameter.
I'm sorry?
30. And is that existing 12-inch, the yellow PVC, or is it standard?
No, it's a steel line.
It's a
So
steel
It's
line.
installed in 2002. We do an assessment every 7 years. We do internal inspections, hydro testing, and ECU.
Okay. So the life of that line is fairly,
I don't have that information.
okay. All right. All right,
Was that the new line you inspect every 7 years?
Any transmission main.
So the new one you're gonna install is 7 years, but the old one on the private property is 3 years?
No, so the transmission main itself is every 7 years. The HPR, the regulator that serves you guys, is every 3 years.
I think it's a safer solution to do it this way.
Yeah, we didn't, when we first talked about this, we didn't have any of this information. We had no idea. So, cool. I think we're good, right?
Okay. So, do we have to do this in a second meeting too? or-
Yes, this evening's vote is really just to approve bringing back the resolution on June 11th.
Right. So do we need a 4-0 to bring it back, or a 3-1?
No, you need a majority for tonight. You need a
Right.
2/3
Right.
on June 11th to approve the
So
resolution.
we would need at least 4 votes then, or 3 tonight then,
Correct.
just to bring it back. Okay, may I have a motion for this resolution to bring it back to the intent to convey the public utility easement to PG&E and a call for public hearing, and thanks again for all of you coming and your information. It's been helpful. I was here last time. So may I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Resolution, roll call.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Chimino?
Yes.
Trustee Gilly?
No.
Trustee Wilchenaro? Yes.
Okay, motion carries, passes 3-1. We'll see you next month in June, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, 11D, approval of West Ed agreement for review of special education support and services.
Okay. So if you recall, during the second interim was our increase in special education costs. They had gone up over $1.1 million since the beginning of the school year. And at that time, the CBO, myself, made the recommendation that the board should consider contracting with an outside firm with the intent basically to evaluate our program, to ensure that we are providing services in the most cost-efficient manner and in the most efficient and cost-effective manner possible. So we went out and we requested proposals from 4 agencies that provide this type of service. We got back two proposals. We did phone interviews initially, Tony and I did, on the groups, and then we actually received proposals from them. So as a result, we're actually recommending that the board enter into agreement with West Ed for a review of the special education supports and services. They basically, I've listed down here what they're gonna be doing, going in and reviewing and analyzing our district, our data, relating that to outcomes for students with disabilities, comparing other districts. They would also include a fiscal component of that, comparing where we're at and how our encroachment or contribution level is, our cost for services, that type of thing. They're going to be collecting a lot of data from different groups, and basically it's going to be about a 6-month process, and part of that delay is going to be the fact that we're at its end of the school year. So there's only going to so much work that's going to be able to do between now and through summer, and then they'll pick it up with the bulk of the work at the end of, or after school starts. So it's about a 6-month process before they summarize the findings and then they make some recommendations. So, are there any questions? You have a copy of the proposal there.
There's a statement down here where they say, you know, proposed scope of work, and it lists tasks 1, 2, 3. But then there's a statement that starts with however, after consultation with the CRPUSD leadership, a customized task list and scope of work for specific areas of services or programs. What exactly does that mean? They recommended one thing, but we said we wanted something a little bit different?
Well, I think what they're gonna capture here is basically the proposed, the questions that are after that. Honestly, I'm not sure, I know they had a general idea, we did come up and, after talking with them, it kind of refined the scope of what we were looking for. I'm not so sure why it reads that way, frankly, because I think the tasks follow in line with the rest of the report. So honestly, I'm not sure why it reads however.
Okay. So out of this, we'll hopefully get to see some areas that we can improve and cost-saving efforts. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yep. I was just wondering if we checked in with any other districts to go in on this with us, if there was any cost savings? Did we ever do that?
We certainly could. I did inquire on some of for several of the K-12 districts in the county, and at that point, no one was ready to
Make that jump.
take that jump.
Okay.
Or they've recently had studies done.
No other questions? Can I have a motion to approve of the West Ed agreement for review of special education support and services?
I'll make a motion to approve the West End Agreement for Review of Special Education Supports and Services.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0. 11E, surplus furniture for Technology High School. So, as stated here, we are going to surplus 550 student chairs, 224 student tables, 16 teachers' desk and teachers' chairs, 30 bookcases, and 30 file cabinets. Evidently, we're keeping a mobile lab. Are we keeping anything else, or is everything brand new?
I think that, Josh, do you have a little, sorry to call on you, do you have a little bit of insight on that, on what we're going to be able to retain?
How are you guys? So really, it's just the mobile computer lab furniture. Everything else is old, donated equipment. A lot of it came from Fireman's Fund. A lot of it's really older. Teachers brought in their own furniture, so we'll ask teachers either to take their furniture home with them, and after that, there's not really much left.
Okay. So this isn't, all right.
So what were you planning on bringing over to be stored in the MU room when we talked about that at Waldo? What's going to be going over there, just like books and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, and everything that the teachers are packing up, so they've been given boxes. There's a lot of equipment that'll be coming over, some machinery, a CNC lathe, things of that nature.
Do we have any other progress on increment 3 at the moment?
We're anticipating
Okay.
mid-June approval right now.
Mid-June?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'll send us an email?
Yeah, I think it'll be in the update.
Okay.
Later today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
So, from the appearance of this, June 10th will be offered to district sites, and it doesn't sound like this material is attractive. June 11th, offered to county schools, and then June 12th, recycled. So what does recycled, hauled off to the dump, or?
Yeah, it's exactly what we did at Waldo when we closed that school. Same thing, we offered to all the sites first, then we had Sonoma County schools come in, they took whatever they wanted, and then after that, it gets recycled. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't do landfill? Is there any other?
No, it doesn't, no, they will recycle it.
Oh, they will recycle.
It's industrial carting. isn't
Industrial
it? They
carting,
pick
so
it
they'll,
up.
we'll, instead of going to landfill, they'll have recycled containers
Okay.
for us,
Yeah.
so it'll be recycled.
Okay, so they'll offer it to whomever, so,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Any
Josh.
questions other than that? If not, may I have a motion to approve the surplus furniture for Technology High School? I move that we approve the surplus furniture for Technology High School.
I'll second.
The second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, opposed, motion carries 4-0. 12A, fiscal update and planning. We're getting there.
We are. So under number one, we have two items. One, as a request of the trustees, the business department has updated the funding available in the bond program. And so that spreadsheet is available. So available cash, I believe this was at the end of April. Yes, I can see that date right there, at the April 30th, 2019. About $15.5 million of cash on hand. And we're happy to answer any questions regarding that document.
Do we know how much is outstanding in accounts payable that we've not been billed for on Lawrence Jones, Tag Building, and the move to Waldo? If the Waldo move is almost $20 million, 19 and change, and this cash on hand, well, the cash on hand is actually including money we don't have back yet from SSU till we vacate June 30th, correct?
It does not, no. It does not include that.
So,
This is strictly the cash balance, so it's not what we're expecting to get or interest earned for the future.
so there's
Strictly
another
what we
1
have.
million coming?
Pardon me?
1 million?
From
SSU,
two,
2.
and that is contingent on us vacating the premises.
So we're going to be really, really close to finish the three, so we don't know we haven't been billed for yet?
Well, we can get that answer for you. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't have
I'm
that
just
information.
concerned that it's going to be really, really tight.
Right. And I remind that we do have, excuse me, we do have developer fees that we've continued to collect. And so we're going to be able to move some of the costs, appropriate costs out of there and into that fund. That's going to free up a little bit more cash. We're continuing to get interest earned on that. And then hopefully, early in the year, we're able to look and see the possibility of getting that next series.
So, but Robert, the full contracted prices for the projects that are under contract have been encumbered, have they not?
No, they have not. Part of, there's multiple costs that are in the budget and some that are not. We don't have the full amounts encumbered in the budget.
Well, don't we need the third portion of Waldo to figure out what that cost is before we can encumber them? Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave us an estimate that was, what, $500,000 more than what was initially estimated. I'm assuming that's probably going to go up. Yeah, it could go up again
So,
by the time we get approval.
so going forward, we just need to keep our eye on this
Absolutely.
and report back. When's a reasonable time to give us an update on this?
We can give you another update at the second June meeting, kind of where we're at with this.
Okay,
Update the numbers.
I'd appreciate
and then-
that.
Right,
Okay,
sure.
great, thank you.
Okay, and then the governor has released his May revision. Robert and I attended the school services workshop this morning at the county office, where we got to see more detailed information regarding the May revision. There is some good news. There isn't, it's not earth-shattering or anything, but from January to May, the governor has determined that his concept to reduce the impact of the STRS increases over the next 2 fiscal years has been extremely popular. So he is proposing adding even more dollars to that, which will produce an additional savings. I don't recall the ballpark estimate that you had, but
I believe it was close to 100,000.
100,000, yeah.
Right.
So of additional savings for the district just for next year. And one of the things that we are watching is his proposal, the governor's proposal for special education augmented funding is based on two factors. One, you have to be a concentration district, meaning above 55% of your unduplicated count. We are not, so we're automatically out of the running for funding through his proposal. And then secondly, you need to meet a certain percentage threshold of students in special education. School Services gave us a figure that really only about 6.8% of special education students in the state would actually receive funding through his proposal. I'm letting you know this because both houses of the legislature are very much unsupportive of his approach. They want to see those dollars flow across all special education students. And the Senate has already passed its version of that proposal, which would do that. And the House is set to vote on either today or tomorrow their proposal, which is a little different, but would also flow dollars out. So hopefully the district will receive some additional special education funding for next year if this tug of war comes in favor of the legislature rather than the governor. So, Robert, I don't know what else you'd like to add to that discussion.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered a lot of it. There wasn't, the main purpose of the May revision is really to see what's changed or how now it's different from what it was in January. And that's based on a lot of the economic information and the actual budget and monies that have been coming in to the state from what they projected on that. And so that's been a little more favorable, which gave the governor a little bit more room to put some more money into his proposals on that. I think the main thing is to remind everybody two things. First of all, at this time of year, the May revision is what we'll be using for our adopted budget. The state will not adopt their budget until end of June. And currently right now what's happening is the governor does his May proposal, and then the legislature, they break off into their separate committees, and they come up with their versions of things, how they want it to look differently or change. Tony talked a little bit about with the special ed. And then ultimately it's a little bit of horse trading with the governor, and we end up with the final budget. So things could still change. I think the one thing that I was encouraged, you're always a little bit nervous about May revision because it could be worse than what you thought, but this, for the most part, was intact, but there was a little bit more favorable news, particularly with the STRS.
Do we have what's the financial impact going to be on the reduction in the COLA percentage on us?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't prepare that information.
That's okay. I tried to go back through my budget committee to look because we had a figure in there, what we thought.
Yeah. It's part of the calculation. It's only one factor in the LCFF calculation. So you pretty much have to plug it in and see what it comes out to.
Okay.
The big part obviously will be for us, not just the COLA. That's going to drive any of our new funding for the future. But what's our enrollment going to be? Because that's a main factor in that formula too.
Mm-hmm. And on enrollment, which was odd, I don't know if there's a mistake, but in March, sorry, it's getting late.
Let's wait till we get.
Oh, I thought we were there.
No, we're not.
Well,
We're
sorry.
a bunch of other.
it's in this section, where we'll be getting there momentarily.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had it attached to the same
Okay.
thing, so I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, so the School Services did present a caution that signs within the state are that not a recession but a slowdown is being predicted for late 2020 into the 2021 school year. So next year should be The economy is doing very well and should continue, but they are seeing signs that that it's not going to come to a halt and reverse, but they are seeing that some of the growth will start to slow down in about a year or so. So the next item is a facilities update. At Technology High School, Josh gave a little bit of that information, but the curbs have been poured for the new parking lot. Paving is scheduled for June 2nd. Roofs will be completed by the end of the month. Insulation and sheetrock is almost done, and the tapers are following closely behind. The playgrounds at John Reed and Evergreen are also complete. We are still waiting on increment 3 approval, as he just said, which we expect in the middle of June. Maybe advantageous to schedule a special board meeting once that increment is approved. I think every day is going to be critical over the summer, even if that next June meeting is a week away. We don't want to wait a week there. And then at LJ, the roof is now airtight, thankfully with the rains we just got. Windows should be coming the next couple of weeks, and electrical rough-ins continue. Fire sprinkler installment is mostly complete, and stucco should begin by the end of the month, and the project is on schedule to be completed by July 31st. And then for enrollment, we are down 7 students at the end of April compared to the end of March, which interestingly enough, at the end of March, we were up 7 students from the end of February. So I guess we're back to the end of February at this point overall. You can see that the biggest differences there were at the high school level. And also this time around, even though I know it came as a separate attachment, our intent was to show both the end of April and the end of March so that the trustees could easily compare 2 months rather than having to go back to prior packets. And Robert also adjusted the enrollment report. Hopefully that it shows a little bit of the ebb and flow a little more clearly than the prior report. Before we leave the topic of enrollment, I know that our projections at this moment for enrollment look positive. However, we are budgeting on 0 growth. So, and we're staffing, and our staffing, which will be 8 to 9 teachers fewer because we're staffing to the ratios, accommodates those students that are in the current projections.
Then, come August, what are we doing to verify enrollment? Are we doing like a 10-day count?
Every day.
Okay, all right.
And we're also, contracts for new certificated staff are, have the contingency language based on enrollment as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, 12B, initial proposal from CSEA for 2019-2020 contract reopener negotiations.
Yes, the CSEA has sunshined their contract openers for next school year. And so this will provide the district and CSA the opportunity to jump right into negotiations shortly after July 1.
So action, do we?
Yes,
To
accept.
May I have a motion then, or questions before we do motion? If not, then may I have a motion to approve the initial proposal from CSEA for the 2019-2020 contract reopener negotiations.
I move
Uh,
that, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I move that we accept the initial proposal for CSEA for 2019-20 contract reopening negotiations.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0, passes, 1 absent. 12C, acceptance of gifts and donations to schools and district. Thank you, Lisa Lloyd, for some 30 scrapbook scissors for the SPED class for Technology Middle. Have a motion to accept the gifts and donations.
I will make a motion to accept the gifts and donations.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Reports, board member reports and future agenda items. Jennifer?
So I've had the opportunity to go to a couple of the schools. I attended one of Matt Transhu's AP Government classes at Rancho. I love going to his class and watching the kids debate. If you guys next year get the chance, definitely take the time to go check it out. I also attended Rancho Cotati's Top 20 dinner and got to watch Laney Lowry present. Thank you for stepping up, as Mr. Transu wasn't able to make it. We had the grand opening of our beautiful tag building. It's a very exciting day for our community. Would like to see if we can set up some more days that we can offer tours, because I know there's a lot of people out there that haven't had that chance yet, and I keep getting phone calls to go on a weekend, and I'm like, no, we'll have to set it up. So I'd like to see us get that set up. I also had the opportunity to tour classes at Lawrence Jones Middle School with interim superintendent Rourke and our principal Michelle Smith. And it was great to go back. I haven't been there since the first day of school, so lots of things have changed. It's amazing now to go into the classrooms and see the kids actually using all the technology that they have and sitting there and collaborating together, and just the way that they use everything in the classroom has changed so tremendously. It just always amazes me to see how well they work together and collaborate, and that they're the ones talking to each other. They're not just standing or sitting at their desk listening to a teacher talk to them. So I just love how that has changed. I also got to attend Tech High's rally and see our teacher, Holly Campos, receive her Teacher of the Month from SCO. So that was awesome to see and very exciting to see her family there to participate with her as well. I attended a wellness committee meeting. Lots of good stuff happening there. And then I also got to attend John Reed's Family Fun Night this month. So it was great to see how many people turned out to celebrate their school.
Super, thank you. Joe?
I went to one of my son's game nights at Hahn. It's very fun. I think my daughter, who doesn't go to school yet, had the most fun. She got to run around with all the other kids. I liked how, one thing I like about Hahn that I've noticed is that, she's not there, but everyone took her in as a sister. And then the boys let her play tag with them, but they're a little too rough, so I was like, let's not do that anymore. That's about it.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
So I also went to Tech High on Monday, and got to watch the kids do their cardboard, what are they called, Don? Yeah, that was really, I love that. That was so cool. But I'll tell you what killed me. I walked into Tech High and saw your guys' class pictures are up. So all the seniors are on the wall now. So that was a little, I'm going to cry. That was a reality check. My son's graduating next week, so it's a big thing.
Yay. I got to attend the Willy Wonka play at Hahn. My granddaughter was in and got to sing. Mrs. Talbot did a great job, and her two daughters did a great job. It was a lot of fun. It's going to be sad that my granddaughter's not there anymore. The one she's going on to, she got into the EXL program, so we're really excited about that. But it's going to be really sad not being at the Hahn community as much, so that's all.
You're a board member. You can go to all those events.
You've got a new grandson, so in 4 years.
He'll be there in 5
4.5,
years.
5
Yeah.
5 years, so, okay. Also attended the TAG kickoff meeting, so I have to apologize. The first time I've missed the top 20 in probably the last 25 years. I always enjoy going to that. I did support it financially, so, those students, deserve their scholarships for their hard work, and thanks to the parents that put that together. So other than that, we've been busy with a lot of other school district business. And from that, we'll go on to the superintendent's report.
Well, I have 3 items, and they've been covered well this evening. First by Carolina and Emily. The tag building, the incredible recognition at Tech High from U.S. News and World Reports. I even had all of the varying ways in which the U.S. News and World Reports weight the factors. Carolina provided that as well. And then I was going to highlight the accomplishments of Holly, the teacher at Tech High, who is, for April, the County Teacher of the Month and the Teacher of the Year for the 21st Century Teacher of the Year, recognized by the foundation. So those have been covered well, so that's it.
Okay. With that, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you for coming, everybody.
So we need to do this, right, Mindy?
Oh, yeah, we didn't get